Welcome back to the next leg in our race around the world. My name is Kevin Oliver.
And my name is also Kevin Oliver.
That's a lie.
My name is Bruce Heller, I think. Right?
And
Yeah, that's my
yeah,
name.
yeah. And this is Pitstop Pals, part of the Reality Realm podcast network. And we are here to recap another episode of The Amazing Race, season 7, episode 10, the penultimate episode.
This
Any
was a fun episode.
It was. The title of it was actually "The Devil Made Me Do It." Bruce, do you know who said the devil made me do it?
Um, no, but she's named a lot of our episodes, so I'm just gonna say Gretchen on a wild guess.
It was actually Kelly.
Oh, well, yeah.
It was when they were yielded and she was drawing the devil face on Rob and Amber's picture, and then she said the devil
Yeah,
made me do it.
that was funny.
Yeah. Um, do you have any quotes for me?
I have a few, admittedly, this, peel back the curtain for the audience. I got back to my house from making like a 24-hour trip home to St. Louis at like 9 o'clock last night and watched this episode. So I was just trying to make sure I got it in. I forgot to be writing down quotes. I did on the boat thing rewind it two or three times to figure out how heavy the boats were and how far away the park was because I kept missing the number because wasn't typing quick enough.
165 pounds.
Yeah, I got that. I got that one the second time. I had to rewind it because I missed how far away the park was.
The
But
park. Which park? Wait, what park are you talking about?
the park they had to go to where the boats were.
A mile and a half.
Yeah, I got that after like trying to rewind it a couple times. But let me think. It was a Kelly. Oh, Kelly says at one point, this quote stuck after me. She isn't sure if Ron is the one or that she should marry him or not. And I wrote down, he's not and you shouldn't.
I mean, yeah.
Devil Made Me Do It is funny. I don't have a ton. I wasn't listening to the quotes. I was just trying to making sure I knew what was happening. Yeah. Let's hear
Bruce is lacking off. That's what I got out of this. Okay, I got some.
I was
Uh,
tired.
it was 9 o'clock.
Yeah, but I'd been driving for 2.5 hours.
You're fine. We were just hoping to make it through the first couple legs without embarrassing ourselves. That was a Gretchen quote.
Yeah, and they did. They didn't do that until the cave.
Yeah. Um, to your Kelly quote, I got the wrong quote from the same time. I think I've seen everything I want to see out of her on this race, referring to his own girlfriend, Kelly.
Uh-huh.
I still think it's ironic. At last week's episode, they won $20,000 to with Travelocity money to use after the race, and the ironic thing is they're probably not going to last two
Yeah.
seconds after the race. Um, find the three naked men of
I remember that.
Hammersmith, and Amber says, "I might be the only one who enjoys this."
I missed that, but I remember laughing at them saying, "Do you know the three naked men?" to random strangers.
Yeah,
Oh,
they said that word many or that sentence many a time.
I
The
do have
three.
a quote, I think from Ron. I'm remembering this from my
Okay.
mind, not from my notes, but thank goodness we're in a country that speaks English finally.
Yes, that did happen.
Which honestly probably was a pretty big relief if you've been in countries that speak languages you don't know all this time.
If anybody's used to it out of them, it should be him though, because
Yeah.
he was the military guy, POW.
And to be fair, England English is slightly different than our English. So
Yeah,
there's
but
even
uh,
then going to be like phrases and stuff that confuse them probably.
Right, but at least they'll understand the gist of what's going on a lot easier.
Yeah.
Um, how about some power steering with the double decker bus?
Oh, that looked awful.
Mm-hmm. Um, it's like teaching women how to drive. That was Ron's quote.
As soon as
Uh,
you said that, I knew it was Ron. I'm like, nobody else would phrase it like that.
yeah, when Kelly was trying to do the double decker bus. I have a quote here from Gretchen. It was simply two words: good, Joyce. Um, and I wrote proof that some things are bigger than the game, and we see this on every reality TV competition show. Is um, there are things bigger than the game. The friendships that they build, the bonds that they build, it whether it be out on the island in Survivor, or whether it be in a race around the world, or whether it be in the Big Brother house, or whatever it is, bonds are built, and it's a sweet friendship between Joyce and Uchenna and Gretchen and Meredith that I have enjoyed these last few episodes. And
Me too.
I, as Meredith is seemingly struggling, for Gretchen, watching their chances at moving forward in this race get slimmer and slimmer. Um, for her to still be able to be happy for Joyce, made me happy.
Yeah.
Um, another quote. It wasn't funny, but when Ron and Kelly got to the mat, Ron said, "This is the most trying time in the race so far." And I'm sitting here thinking, it's now is the most trying time of the race, when you guys have had full episodes where you argued constantly, where Kelly calls you or says that you became a POW to get out of the military. But this is the most trying leg of the race. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
Um,
He did make me laugh later when they're like leaving the bus thing, and he's like, "Oh, I should have done it. I could have done it quicker than you." And she's like, basically says, "Well, I did it fine," which she did, to be fair.
mm,
He his competitive nature takes over and forgets they're in a race and is like, "You know what? Let's tell the driver to go back. Let's have me do that. See if I can do it quicker." I'm like, really?
he goes, "I'll go around that course one, maybe two times."
That looked awful, by the way. I would not want to do that.
Noted.
Because the cones are so small, you can't even see them until you run over them.
Mm-hmm. And then I had a couple last things as Meredith and Gretchen, who, I'm sorry if you haven't watched this by now. I'm sorry. Meredith and Gretchen go home in this leg.
I'm
We'll talk
not. The
about
season aired forever ago. I'm not sorry. Spoilers don't
that's
apply to things that old.
that's what I'm. Yeah. Anyway, um, there was a couple of quotes as they were leaving that weren't necessarily. Well, one of them was kind of funny, but Gretchen was talking about how they've had more than $1 million in experience, and I think that's just a really good attitude. I noted that, but then Meredith turns around and says, if I never see a double decker bus again in my life, it'll be too soon."
Yeah.
All of that being said, those are the quotes I have for us, so we can dive on in if you're ready for that. We
I
can,
think we should buy a double decker bus and road trip across the country in it.
Bruce. I love you. I would never want to road trip across the country with you.
I mean, same, but road tripping with like two people in a giant double decker bus would be hilarious. We could
I'll
we
take. Yeah.
wouldn't even
Okay.
have to road trip together. We could
That's
take turns
true.
driving and like each have our own floor. You
Yeah.
get
That's true. When you're driving, I'll sit on top, and when I'm driving, you can sit on top in the rain.
It took us long. It took us an hour to figure out where to park in Chicago because everyone in that city uses public transportation. Can you imagine us
And the
driving a
correct
double-decker
answer
bus
was
around
somehow
that
windy.
city? What?
What? What'd you say?
I said it took us forever to find a place to park in Chicago because everyone takes public transportation. Imagine that hour, but we were in a double-decker bus instead.
But we could use the bus lane.
Well, that's helpful. We still don't have anywhere to park.
um, and somehow the correct answer for where to park after driving around for an hour was Wendy's.
And if
So
we do that again, I want to at least get a drink. I want to at least buy something from the Wendy's. I kind of felt bad later. I'm like, oh, I should have patronized their business at least. I used their
I
parking lot and their bathroom.
I was gonna say I used their bathroom. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's normally for paying customers, as is parking lots, but they told us we could. So,
Yeah. Uh, what a wild sentence to say.
yeah.
I drove around Chicago for an hour to find a parking spot, and the answer was Wendy's.
We're parking somewhere else and using like a train or a bus next time, like everyone else does.
No, I'm parking at Wendy's.
Why? It was ridiculous.
It wasn't ridiculous once we got to the park at Wendy's because the walk was fine.
Fair enough. I forget that you have something against public transportation.
Who said I had anything against public transportation?
I don't know. It's just anytime I bring it up, you seem to not like the idea, which
The
is
thing
like
is,
twice ever to be fair. But
yes, we've barely talked about it. But the thing is, if we park at Wendy's, we're not on somebody else's time.
fair enough.
That's my thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, into the episode. We are leaving from Istanbul, Turkey, where the last leg of the race finished. And I did not know this is the only city in the world that was built on two continents.
Huh.
Interesting fact.
I did not know that either till he said it.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch at the beginning when Phil was recapping? He said that the last episode was the second of three planned non-elimination legs.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
I am too.
There's at one point where I literally wrote, "Are we having back-to-back NELs?" Because that it didn't make sense to me.
I
But
guess we're just gonna have two legs with the same final three.
well, there's only one episode left. It's 2 hours. My guess is it's gonna be like basically two separate episodes.
Yeah.
With the first hour resulting in one more regular pit stop that's an NEL, and then whoever's in the last is gonna have a disadvantage for the second half of the finale, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that.
Anyway, Joyce and Uchenna are the first to depart at 10:53 p.m. From the fortress that they were at, right outside the city limits of Istanbul, Turkey. They get their clue that says they have to go to Circassi train station, where they will have to enter a room and pass through this room full of dervishes, which are like these dancers that are doing some kind of Hindu ritual. And once they're passed through that room of the weird dancers, they will get their next clue. Everybody, or three of the four teams, will start this leg with $477, except for Ron and Kelly, who lost all money, don't get any money. It started this leg and lost everything but the clothes on my back and their passports. So that's a thing. But we find out that they have to fly to London England, and find the crossroad or the crossroad um, that was used for the Beatles video. Just a second.
I do like having regular jam.
I don't have anything around me to do show and tell with you guys like I usually do. So,
Oh, yeah. That.
The gift exchange like we did last year. Why not?
I'm
Well, all the kids got to bring something?
Yeah.
stalling, I guess. I can do show and tell.
I told him a 2 weeks in class.
This is my soda can. This is Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew was created in heaven because it's that good.
Themselves.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
This is a tape dispenser. It has clear tape on it. It's kind of sharp and pointy on the
Nobody
edge.
cares about your tape dispenser.
Well, quit leaving and I wouldn't have to do show and tell.
I had to answer a question. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why I'm doing show and tell. I had to stall.
You can
That's what I
stall
always
with.
stall with. I always do show and tell.
Yeah, but you don't have to.
It's funny.
If you say so.
I do.
But they have to find this crossroads in which the Beatles film took a picture for one of their album covers that we know as Abbey Road.
Yeah.
So they had to find Abbey Road, and their clue would be. I put that I love this reference to the Beatles, one of the greatest bands of all time.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they have to fly to London first because they're still in Istanbul. And it's interesting because Uchenna and Joyce did not check on connecting flights, only direct flights, because they were worried about maybe missing a connecting flight. And so Uchenna and Joyce and Gretchen and Meredith, the first two teams to get to the airport, both get these direct flights from Istanbul, Turkey to London, England, that will leave at 8:30 in the morning and get there at 10:30 in the morning. Rob and Amber do something different that I'll talk about in a second here, but we see as everybody's heading to the airport that Ron and Kelly were literally begging people to give them cash just so they could get a taxi ride to the airport.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because like last time that we had the NEL, Meredith and Gretchen were given money by most of the other teams. They didn't have to ask random strangers.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And I personally don't think that's something I could do well.
I mean, me either, but you really don't have a choice.
I know, but I'd probably make you do it because I feel very awkward. I don't even ask people in Walmart for help.
I'd feel awkward too. Why do I have to do it? Why are you in charge?
Because I said so.
No.
Yeah.
I'm more stubborn though, so we're just gonna stand there until we both do it. I'm not doing it alone.
I don't know that you're more stubborn, but you are stubborn.
No, I'm more stubborn than you.
I'm not convinced.
Oh, I am.
You've never seen me be that stubborn.
Yes, but you have seen me be that stubborn, which kind of proves that it's more prevalent in me.
No, because I haven't had a reason to be stubborn around you.
I really haven't had a good one either. It just kind of happens.
But you had something to be stubborn about.
Fair enough.
Exactly. Another funny thing from this area of the episode was that I thought it was funny that Rob literally had somebody like translate in Turkish what he wanted to say on a piece of paper so he could show it to like his taxi driver and stuff.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's cool. But like I said, Rob and Amber did something different. They risk it for the biscuit here with a Frankfurt connection flight because they can get on a flight from Istanbul to Frankfurt, Germany, but currently the Frankfurt, Germany flight is sold out, so they have to go on a standby ticket list. So if they do not get those tickets, they could be in a whole lot of trouble here. What do you think about this move from Rob and Amber, and eventually Ron and Kelly as well?
Yeah, that was going to be what I was going to say, is that Ron and Kelly did it too. I like the risk. I don't know that I would do it, but I appreciate the guts to take that big of a risk. I like it. I wouldn't want to do it, but
That would make me so freaking anxious, man.
uh-huh.
I find it funny though because right after they book these flights, Rob literally goes, "Don't let anybody else use the internet."
Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work, but
Well, I don't think anybody else used the internet though, so.
fair enough.
But we see Kelly and Ron show up to the airport. We see a couple different things happen here. As Rob and Amber, they want everybody else to think that they're getting on that same direct flight as they are because they don't want other people on the actual flight that they are. So they go up to Turkish Airlines and put on a show like they're getting tickets for that flight. But anyway, Meredith gives Kelly and Ron money that they're able to end up buying a plane ticket with.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool of
That
Meredith.
was.
I think that's empathy because he's been in the same situation they were in. But I respect that. And then Kelly borrows that lipstick from the airline lady.
I missed that.
Yeah. When they went up to get their tickets, she goes, "Can I borrow your lipstick?" Which was kind of a callback because at the very beginning of the episode when they were getting ready to leave, Ron was saying how Kelly was going to be without makeup for a few days and how they were going to be in the same clothes and how it was just going to be a little bit more disgusting.
Yeah.
But then she asks to borrow the lipstick, which I thought was funny. But like we said, Ron and Kelly, they decided to take that same risk. They saw the flight for Frankfurt leaving. They checked on the connection. They found out that they would have to go on a standby ticket list. But Ron and Kelly were also willing to take that risk as Rob and Amber, which is going to end up, if it works, which it does for both of them, they both get tickets onto the flight from Frankfurt to London, and they're going to be 90 minutes ahead of the other two teams once they get to London, which worked out really well, but it could have worked out very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Once they get to London, though, they find out that they need to take the Heathrow Express to Paddington Station because, like we said, they're going to go to Abbey Road. Ron and Kelly missed their train that Rob and Amber were going to be on. And while Rob and Amber were on the plane, they found another guy to follow him around and help him out.
I know. It's hilarious that they keep being able to do this.
And his name's Stuart.
Yeah.
And he's going to take them to Abbey Road.
Do these people not have jobs?
I guess not. Nobody has a job anymore.
Well, Sanju actually did. He was the hotel manager. That the hotel just didn't have a boss for
like a day
leg of the race.
Yeah, it was crazy. Once they get to Abbey Road, though, they read a clue that says that they have to go to the London Eye, which looks like a good time to me. It's a 40-story Ferris wheel, not 40 foot, it'd be 400 feet. 40-story tennis Ferris wheel.
You're good at talking.
Not a tennis wheel. I don't know what a tennis wheel is, but it's a 40-story Ferris wheel where they have to scan the skyline for a flag that is the yellow and red. That is the Amazing Race colors, and below that flag will be their next clue. And all four teams do this, and all four teams find it easily. And at that clue, we have the detour: brain or brawn. Do you want to explain brain and brawn, Bruce?
Yes, a brain is what's in your head, and a brawn is when you're strong. Brawny is also a type of paper towels. But as for the challenges itself, which is what I was actually supposed to explain, let me scroll. So brains are, you have to solve 3 riddles on a subway. I broke Kevin. Oh well. You have to solve 3 riddles on a subway that the answers eventually lead you to Sherlock Holmes's house. And brawn is you have to go to a park 1.5 miles away and transport 5 160-pound boats 500 yards from the lake to the storage.
Good job.
Thank you.
You finally did what I asked.
I went the extra mile. I did what you asked, and then I did extra. I worked extra hard.
You keep telling yourself that. Yeah. And it was cool because like each time that they would solve one of those riddles for the brain part, they would get like an extra piece of Sherlock Holmes like fit, basically. Like they had this bag and a magnifying glass, and they had that weird hat that Sherlock Holmes wears and stuff like that. But it was an even split here. Robin, Amber, and Ron and Kelly both did brain, while Joyce and Uchenna and Meredith and Gretchen both did brawn. I do not think Meredith and Gretchen should have done brawn.
I was shocked by that. Then I realized that when you're transporting the boats, you're not carrying them. They're on wheels. I'm like, okay, that's not as bad of a choice as I thought it was. Still not the best
I
choice
still think it was a terrible choice for them.
Oh, it still was, but not as bad when there's wheels. That makes it so much easier.
And they were still really slow.
Yeah.
What would you want to do?
At first description, I thought you had to carry the boat, so I would have done the other thing. But I'm not good at figuring things out sometimes. So now that I see you're just pushing a cart, basically, with the boat on it, I might choose that one, honestly.
I mean, you still have to carry the boat onto the cart and off the cart and stack it and everything.
Yeah, but the whole, like, most of the trip, you're just pulling it on the cart. You have to pick it up to get it on and off of it. But I was imagining at first, like, you had to carry it the whole 500 yards.
And I personally would rather do brains.
I just think I'd be terrible at that.
Those riddles were not hard, though.
Yeah, because they got people to tell them the answers.
Well, yeah, that's what you have to do.
You don't like talking to strangers. We already talked about this.
No, I don't want to. I don't have a problem asking them a question. I don't want to ask them for money.
Oh, well, you have to anyway.
No, you do. You ask them for money, I'll ask them for the answers to these questions.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing to that. We'd be a terrible team.
Why?
Because this keeps happening.
This is like the first time we've disagreed on which one to do.
No, but like you would want to be in charge and tell me to do stuff, and I'd be like, "You're not the boss of me. Why do I only have to do it?" And we wouldn't get anywhere.
We'd make great
stand there
TV.
arguing all day.
We'd make great TV.
Yeah, but we'd be bad at the game.
I don't think we would.
I'm not convinced that we would or wouldn't, honestly.
Because when it comes to the $1 million, I'll suck it up and do what I gotta do.
Yeah, same. It's just I don't like being told to do things sometimes.
I'm not just gonna tell you to do everything all the time.
Fair enough.
No matter what you think. Anyway, this was the whole part where they had to find the 3 naked men of Hammersmith. No, nope, you are not one of them.
Just kidding.
You are not one of them.
Thankfully, nobody wants to see that.
Amen.
I mean, my hypothetical future wife might if she ever comes along, but that seems far away at the moment. So,
You heard it here first, folks. Bruce is not one of the 3 naked men of Hammersmith.
thankfully.
And we are all praising the Lord for that.
And also, I never would be because I don't have a strong desire to go to England. So I would never be in Hammerstone.
Well, it's a good thing it's Hammersmith.
Either way, I'm not going to be there.
Hey, you don't know. Maybe God will call you into ministry in
No.
London.
As far as like vacationing and stuff goes, there's so many places I'd rather spend time than England.
What's wrong with England?
Nothing. I just would rather go, like, Egypt is where I want to go more than anywhere else.
Yeah, I knew that.
Or like Florida, there's so much to do there.
The contrast of Egypt to Florida.
Okay, alligators, one of my favorite animals. Disney World, Universal, tons of baseball and hockey teams, or depending on the time of year, football teams to go see games of. There's so much to do in that state.
That's fair.
Plus weather.
Not always weather, though.
Yes, but when it's super cold in Illinois and Missouri, which are the 2 states I'm from right now, well, I'm from Missouri. I live in Illinois. But when it gets super cold in the Midwest, just go to Florida for the winter, like the birds do. And the coldest it gets is like 50 or 60.
Okay, old man.
I'm less of an. No, old people live there full time. I'm just being a bird.
No, I know a lot of people, or like I know a lot of. There's a lot of people from around here that are snowbirds. They go to Florida for 3 or 4 months and then come back. I have an aunt and uncle who do that, but in Gulf Shores, Alabama, which is right on the coast of Florida and Alabama.
Oh, and also there's a place somewhere in Florida called Gatorland. Another thing to do there. Pretty sure all of Florida is just Gatorland, though. And they own it. It's theirs.
Florida is not the only place with gators, though.
No, but they're the place that's known for gators. And at least as far as America is concerned. That's where the most of them are.
I feel like Louisiana has a lot.
It's those 2. I think you hear more about it with Florida because Florida named their college the Gators, but
I actually think Louisiana more when I think about the animal, though, because of the swamps and the bayou.
I think of Florida because they're just everywhere, but it's those 2. I really don't know anywhere else in America where they're prevalent outside of those 2 states. But yeah, the 3 clues for brains were fun. Asking a bunch of strangers if you know the naked men is funny and awkward.
South Carolina.
Oh, yeah, that's not surprising. I'm surprised.
Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, and Texas, and Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
Oklahoma and Arkansas. A lot of these, when you say them, I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think I've heard about that. I've never heard of like gator sightings in Oklahoma or Arkansas. That's interesting.
Oklahoma, alligators are found in the wetland areas of the state. In Arkansas, alligators are found in the southern tip of the state.
Which is basically Louisiana. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Florida and Louisiana are still the 2 big ones, though.
They are.
And
Florida has 1.25 million alligators. Louisiana has the largest alligator population in the country. Florida second.
Interesting. Okay, I got that wrong.
Kind of what I was thinking, but oh well.
Alligators are so awesome, though. That's the bottom line. I love alligators.
There's a lot of swampland in Louisiana.
I was thinking Everglades is what was coming to my mind for Florida.
Right. That's fair.
There's also
Anyway,
a whole football team of alligators. They're not college kids. They're real alligators dressed in football uniforms.
yeah, that's true.
I would watch that.
Of course you would. Um, anyway, back to the Amazing Race.
Oh yeah.
Um, once they did their detour task, either Brian or Braun, they got a clue that said they needed to proceed to Millennium Dome. Caution, yield ahead.
Yes.
The third of 3 yields. You can only use a yield one time throughout the race. No one has used a yield yet, so it's game on for all of them. At the same time as they're on their way to the Millennium Dome, Stewart decides to leave.
Yeah, he does.
Bye, Stewart.
Bye, Stewie.
No.
He never told us not to call him Stewie. I'm creating a nickname.
Okay.
If
That's
he
fine.
doesn't like it, he can message me and say, "Don't call me that on the show anymore."
Because I'm sure Stewart from London, England is listening to us right now.
I'm actually banking on that he's not when I say that. That way I can. But if I say it that way, I have the plausible deniability of, hey, I offered to stop if he wants me to. I never heard from him.
That's true. But Rob and Amber were the first people to the yield. They chose to yield Ron and Kelly. What'd you think about this choice?
It makes sense. Like Ron and Kelly were ticked about it, but anyone would be that got yielded. You're coming to the end. That's the team that's either been right next to you, right in front of you, or right behind you the whole time. It's good to create space when you can.
It was interesting. Amber wanted to do Joyce and Uchenna. What did you think about that?
I mean, I didn't really think that made a ton of sense compared to, like I said, the team that's been right with you the whole time.
Yeah, I think Ron and Kelly was the right move. But at the same time, I can kind of see a world where Joyce and Uchenna would be the right move, and that right move would be to more likely ensure Meredith and Gretchen a spot in the final, a team that you feel very confident you could beat.
Yes, I do feel confident that I could beat them. Correct.
And I'm sure Rob and Amber do too.
You know what would be great as far as a team for this? Is we clone me. And it's just two of me because we're very like-minded. We'd be on the same wavelength the whole time.
Or you would be too much alike that you just annoyed each other.
Well, I think I'm delightful though. So
Yeah, but you've never had to deal with you.
yes, but like when I tell jokes and do funny things, I laugh.
Right. But if somebody else that is just you two, like you're thinking this joke, but your clone says it, you're going to be annoyed because you didn't get to say the joke.
Maybe. There's also times like my dad has said jokes that I was thinking like, oh, that's funny, and then we laugh and my mom rolls her eyes at both of us because she doesn't think it's funny.
Sounds
So
about right.
I think cloning me is the answer.
I think cloning you sounds utterly terrifying.
The world needs more of me.
Okay, then have offspring.
Well, that requires someone to want to have offspring with me, which is proving difficult right now.
What, the ladies aren't lining up the front door of Ipava?
Not at the moment. To be fair, they aren't in St. Louis either, so I'm 0 for 2 as far as places I go.
And St. Louis is a lot bigger.
I at least had a girlfriend years ago when I lived there, so.
That's fair.
Oh well, it's settled. Once cloning technology is created, I call dibs on first in line.
That's cute.
Both of me are going on the race.
That's cute. You think they aren't already working on cloning technology?
I didn't say when. No, I said when they finished it. I didn't say
No,
when they
you said
started.
when it's invented.
Invented implies completion.
I don't think so.
I think no, because Graham Bell didn't invent the telephone when he started working on it. He invented it when he was done. You're still in the process of inventing when you're still working on it. Until it works, it's not fully invented yet.
I
That's
guess.
like I
How
put
do
a
we
box of
know?
mac and cheese in the microwave and say, "Oh, I cooked it." No, I'm still cooking it. It's not done yet.
How do we know that they haven't completed it and they're just keeping it in Area 51 with the aliens?
Because in 2019, 2020, a bunch of people from the internet raided Area 51. Don't you remember those memes?
Oh yeah, I think I slept through that day.
There's a news report from Area 51 and the guy just runs across the background very chaotically. It's kind of funny. But
Anyway, after the caution, we have a roadblock. Drive a bus. Tell me about driving a bus, Bruce.
you're doing it.
I'm okay with that.
Not that I
Wait,
don't think I could, but the little cones are so small, and you hit one of them, and you have to start over, but you can't see them. Are you there? I think you're frozen.
nope. I've been here the whole time. I just wanted you to
Oh,
think frozen. Um, what happened to I don't like people telling me what to do. You just told me what to do.
I know, but you did it to me earlier. You
I
made
know,
me
I'm
be a
just giving
beggar,
you
so
crap.
I get to do it once.
I'm just giving you crap. I would be fine taking this
I
one on.
or an I. Well, that's a T. I need a
That's a
third
T.
hand to put the bottom here. I. Lowercase I.
I'm fine taking this one, but I tell the audience, please. Could you tell the audience what this entailed?
Driving a double-decker bus around these very tiny cones that look like they're 6 inches tall at the most. It's a little obstacle course that's all twisty and curvy you have to drive through.
Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would finish it by backing their bus into a spot. Um, everybody took multiple goes at this. Rob got it on his fourth attempt. Kelly got it on her seventh attempt. Joyce on her fifth, and Meredith on his seventh attempt. But evidently, this bus is kind of hard to steer because Rob said, "How about some power steering?" But that's kind of it was pretty challenging. I actually have a note back to the detour because while Rob and Amber and Ron and Kelly are doing the bus, the other two teams are still back at the detour where they're doing brawn. And Joyce and Uchenna are doing laps around Meredith and Gretchen with these boats.
Yeah.
And there was actually one point where Uchenna tried to help Meredith and Gretchen by pushing one for a little bit, but then he was reminded that he could not help the other team in any way, which is an Amazing Race rule. But after the roadblock's complete, you're told to travel 8 miles to Potter's Field Park for the pit stop. This is why I asked you which park you were talking about.
Yeah, I forgot about the second part.
Yeah. So Rob and Amber are way ahead of everybody else because Ron and Kelly had to do that yield where they had to wait until the hourglass ran out of sand before they could take their clue and move on. Something interesting I saw here from when Joyce and your channel, they were talking to a taxi driver, and they were like, "We need to go to Millennium Dome. Would it be more advantageous for us to go by taxi or train?" And this man who makes his living by driving people around the city told them that they would get there faster on a train, which I think, good on that guy. But that really shocked me that he would basically send away his business.
Yeah. Good for him for being honest and helpful, though.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think it was great. I just don't think that we see much of that, you know?
Makes me want to patronize his business. I'm gonna go to England just to ride in his cab.
I thought you didn't want to go to England.
What?
I thought you didn't want to go to England.
I didn't say I didn't want to go there. I said there's other places I would rather go first. Like England's not super high on the list.
Actually, you said, I don't have a strong desire to go there.
I don't, but it still looks fun. There's stuff I'd enjoy doing.
That's fair.
They put baked beans on toast. I want to try that.
Well, why don't you just try that in your house?
I plan on it sometime. I just need to go buy a can of Bush's baked beans.
That's not even the best baked beans.
Well, the best baked beans come from barbecue restaurants, but I'm not.
I mean,
haven't found one near
that's not even the top tier can.
I don't know. That's what I think of.
We use Van Camp's.
Most of the time I'm eating baked beans, it's at barbecue restaurants, and it just comes in a little bowl. So I really don't buy cans that often for whatever.
You don't make baked beans at home?
Not a ton. I just forget about it.
That's wild.
I make canned ravioli.
I do that.
Chef Boyardee.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Uchenna and Joyce are having train problems here. They were on trying to catch the completely wrong train.
Yeah, what was that?
One guy told them to go one place and it was wrong, I think.
Yeah, that happens.
But here we see Kelly draw the devil face on Rob and Amber, and that's where we got our scene title from as they're waiting, or our episode title from as they were waiting for their yield to run out. And then it shoots to Rob and Amber, team number 1. You win a home entertainment system as the winners of this leg of the race. And I wrote, Amber and Rob always win a prize. It seems like nobody else gets a prize when they come in first, but Amber and Rob have like 5 or 6 prizes.
To be fair, Ron and Kelly got a prize for finishing last.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It wasn't for placing first.
It was for placing last, which is weird.
It wasn't for placing last.
I know. It's just funny to say it that way.
Yeah. But it seems like every time Ron and Kelly have been first on a leg like 2 or 3 different times, and they never got a prize. Joyce and Uchenna were first last week, and they didn't get a prize.
Yeah. Last week was when the prize was randomized, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last week.
Okay.
But it seems this season like the only time prizes are given out are when Rob and Amber come in first. And I know that probably that it wasn't done on purpose. It's just really annoying to me. They should just give a prize every week like they do anymore.
Just give a travel prize every week to every team that finishes.
No. We don't do participation trophies here at the Amazing Race.
I agree, but I just want to see what the budget for the prize budget would be if they did that.
They'd go bankrupt. There would be no more Amazing Race.
They need to do that, but only on the season we're on. That way,
I'm okay with that.
It.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But so Rob and Amber, they just got finished with the race, this leg of the race. And then the other 3 teams are all doing this roadblock at the same time. It's anybody's game at this point. And Ron and Kelly finish, and then on the way there, they start arguing. And Ron tells Kelly that she has a big ego.
Yeah.
It's just messy.
They can't go an episode without arguing at this point.
It's just messy. But they were the second team done. They were the second team to the mat. And Uchenna and Joyce came in third. At this point, I'm still kind of questioning what's about to happen because Phil said that about 2 out of 3 NELs. So I was like, are we getting another NEL with Gretchen and Meredith this week? Answered very shortly after, as they come in fourth place and become eliminated. But in my opinion, the fact that as old as they were on this and as much as they struggled, the fact that they made it all the way to the final 4,
Yeah.
in my book, they won.
In the first episode, you said they were going to be terrible. So.
Yes, I know. I mean, and I am happy.
Oh, you actually did good. I was guessing on that. There was a 50% chance that you didn't actually say that.
Well, I was pretty low on the old people. They weren't at the very bottom, but they were definitely in the bottom third, I'd say.
That's right, because I accused you of hating old people.
Yeah, you did that, and I accused you of being sexist.
Multiple times.
And you've accused me of being old or ageist multiple times. So
yes.
But I am happy to eat my words on this one. Meredith and Gretchen were a light on this season. I absolutely loved having them on here, being able to watch their race and watch them overcome adversity and break a record as the oldest people to get that far in the race. I mean, I just think it's they've been very fun to watch.
I agree. They were awesome. Again, I wish she wouldn't use the word God so many times the way she uses it, but overall they were fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Other than when she was riding on top of the elephant that other people were trying to push, actively making it heavier. That was annoying. But other than that, they were fun.
For sure. And so the episode ends with confessionals from all 3 of the other teams. And I have some interesting things to point out here. Everyone's confident. They all think they're going to win, which is valid. I think that you should come into the final leg of the race thinking you're going to win.
Yeah.
You know? Ron says here that Rob and Amber have a lack of character. What do you think about that?
I mean, people have been saying that about them all season. It's just they finish ahead of us a lot, and we wish we were finishing ahead of them. So I guess jealousy, for lack of a better word.
Well, my thought here was really with 3 question marks, and I said, look at your girlfriend.
Not going to be his girlfriend much longer, so he would probably agree with you, in all honesty, if you said that.
Probably. I'm going to bring it up again. How can we sit here and say that Rob and Amber have a lack of character on a season for where, 1, we have Patrick who's screaming at his mother all the time, and for 2, we literally have a lady saying that her boyfriend purposely became a POW to get out of the military.
Yeah.
And you're going to say Rob and Amber have a lack of character?
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Also, Patrick's mother, you didn't like her either.
I don't like Patrick's mother either. You're right. She was annoying.
You were always the one that pointed her out to me, and she's the old one in that pair. I just want to point out that you're hating on old people again.
No, I was
you hated on Patrick too, but that doesn't fit my narrative.
You hated on Patrick so much and basically treated his mom like an angel that she was not.
No, she's not an angel. I said she's bad too, but he annoyed me a lot more.
But you never really spoke about her until I started speaking about her.
Yes, but none of this fits my narrative, so I didn't.
I know, exactly. It's all for narrative's sake.
I'd be a good politician.
I'm not voting for you.
I wouldn't want it. Politics is awful.
The other thing that I wrote here from these confessionals was Uchenna and Joyce. They say that Ron and Kelly and Rob and Amber are just worried about each other and that they will sneak through and grab the win because of that. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's fair. Those top two teams had so many confessionals saying that the other team and them have been so tight the whole time. They basically do see each other as the only threat.
Yeah, that's fair. And all of that being said, are you ready to go into power rankings with our final three?
I do have one more thought.
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
This confessionals going to the finale was really fun. There was some good content there. The one from our last rewatch on season 25 is still so much funnier to me, though. Because Robbie and Jim just being peak cocky talking about the finale teams is fantastic.
Yeah, just for neither of them to win.
Yeah. Which, again, the beginning of 25, the team that wins, I had no reason to think they were going to win the whole time, but I had this gut feeling they were going way farther than they should have the whole time. So I kind of predicted that.
And then they won.
Yeah.
And I had to sit here and not say anything the whole time because you kept saying the same thing every week.
But I had no reason to actually believe that. That was just pure gut because they were finishing middle to bottom of the pack every time. I'm still surprised that they won, honestly.
Right.
That was such a fun season.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was great.
And this one has been also.
Yes, when we have one more week, a 2-hour episode to round it all off. But that being said, power rankings, Bruce, do you got them ready?
Yes, they're up here.
All right, number 3.
Ron and Kelly.
Okay.
The tension just keeps building, and the arguments get deeper cut, I guess, each week. And I think something's going to happen in the finale that's going to throw them off. And I think they finish third.
I also have Ron and Kelly in third for a lot of those same reasons. They are not getting along really much at all anymore. And I think that's going to be their detriment.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you got in second?
Uchenna and Joyce, and I'm not going to be surprised if they do win. It's just hard to not put Rob and Amber at one when they finished this leg so far ahead. And I assume it'll be the whole 12-hour rest period that Phil explains every single episode like he's never explained it before.
Yep.
I don't know if you've noticed that, but the beginning of every they left at this time a.m., so they're leaving at the same time p.m.
Yep.
Or they finish p.m. and leave a.m. So Rob and Amber, they've been the strongest team all season, and they're going to have a head start, I assume. So I'm not going to be surprised if Uchenna and Joyce find a way to pull this out because that's what they do. I just can't rank them at 1, so they're at 2.
I have the same idea, and I have the same thoughts. Uchenna and Joyce have been strong. I thought that they probably played the second best game this week. Simply because of a 90-minute head start that the other two teams had on them, really pushed them back to that third slot this week. But I thought that that they made pretty good work of the different tasks in this episode. So I think they are the better team than Ron and Kelly.
Yeah,
but it's hard to bet against what Rob and Amber have been doing for the majority of this season.
Let me ask you this. A question just popped into my head.
Sure.
If Meredith and Gretchen had chosen the Sherlock Holmes clues instead of the heavy boats, do you think it would have made a difference?
I think it might have.
Would they be in this finale instead of Uchenna and Joyce right now? Had they made that choice?
I think it might have.
I'm not convinced it would or wouldn't have, but I'm with you. I think it might have. I'm not sure. There's no way of knowing.
Well,
But
because Uchenna and Joyce were running laps over them. I mean, we
yeah.
got Uchenna and Joyce finishing, and Meredith and Gretchen are on like 2 of 5 boats. You know what I mean?
For all we know, though, they could have been terrible at the detective thing also.
They could have, but I think that I do think that they would have had more success there than with these boats. They just don't move fast enough to keep up with other people in a labor-intensive challenge like that.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
don't know why, but I want to watch them do the pancake flipping race thing.
that would be a nightmare for them.
Yeah.
I have a couple notes. Did you watch the stay tuned for
Maybe. I don't remember.
a couple things on here, one from each team. Ron and Kelly, I think you're right. I think that something's going to happen between them. Their relationship is seeming to crumble even further than it already is, based on the next time on.
They have a relationship left at this point?
Somehow.
Huh.
Kelly's over here like crying, saying, "I want to love you," and all this stuff, but I just can't because and she's crying, and it's a whole thing. Yeah, for real. There was also a point in this episode or in the next time on where Rob and Amber are, it looks like, getting a ticket by the Popo.
Oh, I did see that. You're right. So I did watch this last part. Okay.
And Joyce and Uchenna, it looks like they have a flat tire.
Yeah, next week's going to be wild.
Yes, there is a lot of things that are going to happen, and it's going to be an interesting end to what has been a really fun season.
For sure. Totally agree.
Yeah, Bruce. This was a good episode. Had a lot of fun talking about it with you.
You too. Let's go get a pet alligator for next week's episode to have on camera with us.
Okay, sounds good to me. Do you want to plug some stuff from the Reality Realm Network?
Yeah, if you guys missed the major announcement that appeared on the feeds for all 3 of our current shows, Roundtable Talk is coming up.
Yes.
Me, Brett Parnell, Kevin here. So both of the people that have to put up with me co-hosting a show each are now co-hosting a second show with me each week. So let's see how quickly either of them get tired of me.
Yeah, we might fire you, and me and Brett will just take over.
How are you gonna fire me?
I have the support of half of the founder. If Brett gets tired of you too.
I mean that might be fair, but new generation challengers, they're doing stuff. I think Challenge 40 ends sometime in January. I'm gonna binge the season after it's done because
I think there's 2 more weeks of Challenge 40.
That's what we thought. I think Brett told. I'll have to text him later to get you the answer. I think he told me they're taking like a couple weeks of break or something in between there. So there may be 2.
Oh yeah. No, I just mean 2 more weeks of shows. They're not gonna do it on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
But I think there's like 2 more weeks of TV. Like
it'll end sometime in January, and then keep listening to our show.
Yeah. Did you mention Tribal Council chat?
I think I forgot that one somehow, but
somehow.
Yeah, check that out too, guys.
Well, that was really enthusiastic. Yeah, I'll do it then. Check out Tribal Council chat where Bruce and Brett are doing some really good stuff over there. They are wrapping up season 47 with the final episode coming out on December 18th. And Rachel's going to win.
Maybe. I still think there's a chance she loses at Fire, but it's either her or Sam. The other 2 don't have a chance.
I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah. If it's Rachel at final 3 with Sue and Teeny, I could see it being unanimous. I just don't think either of the other 2 stand much of a chance at getting anything more than like a single vote.
Yeah, I'm afraid that we're not going to see any more unanimous votes because people want to give a sympathy vote because they want to see their friend to get second place versus third place.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point there.
Go.
Anyway, we've had a great time today talking about Amazing Race season 7, episode 10. The Devil Made Me Do It, and we will be back maybe next week. Hopefully, if our schedules allow. We're sorry that we were a week behind this last time, but we will be back to talk through the 2-hour finale for season 7 entitled 5 Continents, 25 Cities, and More Than 40,000 Miles.
Yeah.
All of that being said,
Go.
no, not yet. All of that being said, the world is waiting for you. Good luck.
Travel safe.
Go.
Travel safe.